looking at extending the time from 2:30 to 4:30 for schools. Now, we have no more time. After this, you'll have the news. Thank you. I'm Sondra Roden. That was the story.
Jamaica, you ready? A pan time again. We're bringing the vibes to Kingston at Jamaica College. Sunday, August 31st, CB Chicken presents Pan, powered by CB Foods. Gates open at 12 noon, and the Caribbean Passion Kiddies Village is back. Find out who will be crowned the 2025 Pan Chicken Champion. Live performances by Kevin Downswell, Lila Ike, Giamar Mitchell, and many more. Admission is free. Roll out with the whole family on Sunday, August 31st, 12 noon at Jamaica College. One pan a knock. Powered by CB Foods.
This iconic Jamaican has graced many a stage. From Broadway to TV to film, it's safe to say her star shines very bright. She is
the Honorable Dr. Sheryl Ralph, Order of Jamaica. I love that so much. Yes.
what she said.
I was literally moved to tears, very much like when I got the call that I had been nominated for my first Emmy.
Yeah.
And then it was as if the spirit of my mother was rising up, because my mother always said, my children are to go further than I did. Don't you ever give up on yourself. Because if I'd given up on myself, I wouldn't be here. But here I am, Medea.
Odyssey with Yendi, brought to you by Grace, Singer, and IslandNet Services.
So much for joining us for CVM News at noon on this, the last day of July 2025, the 31st. It's a Thursday. A truck driver and a passenger are now in hospital following a single vehicle crash near the Williamsfield Roundabout of the Winston Jones Highway in Manchester. It's alleged the truck, which left the Hatfield Asphalt Plant loaded with asphalt shortly before 10 o'clock this morning, got out of control at the base of the hill. The vehicle, which veered off the roadway, came to a stop at the embankment, where it overturned, spilling its content. Now, an eyewitness told CVM News the driver appeared to have been warning other motorists of the danger as he tried to maneuver the heavy unit before he totally lost control.
Yeah, I was coming down on the highway and see the truck coming down, and the brother man said, no, take on yourself. I look at beer smoke under the car under the truck. And eventually we went up past it and never know say that come mash up.
Jamaica Labour Party JLP campaign spokesperson Kamina Johnson-Smith has come to the defense of the government's performance over the past 9 years. Speaking on CVM Television's lead story, Johnson-Smith acknowledges the economic and social hardships currently affecting some Jamaicans. However, she maintains significant progress has been made during the JLP's time in office.
Do just a little research on the 90s when the whole world was booming and everybody was growing. Jamaica was eking out some very anemic growth. But what did we also experience? The entire shutdown, collapse of the financial sector, interest rates in the 3-digit. I don't know if people can understand now who didn't experience it, that a man would take out a loan at 13%, and would end up with a loan at 130%. Families were wiped out. We're not exaggerating when we say that they are responsible for the worst financial disaster in Jamaica's history.
Meanwhile, a heated clash over fixed election dates took center stage at a PSOJ town hall. Constitutional law expert Dr. Lloyd Burnett challenged the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Marlene Malahoo Ford, on why the reform promised nearly a decade ago has not been implemented.
Thing I'd like to say is that with the 2015 reforms of the Representation of the People's Act, we do have set in law a campaign period, all right? And that is set out in the Representations of the People's Act. So even if the elections are not announced, for purposes set out in the law, when you come to, I think it's 6 months, don't quote me on it because I don't have the provision before me, but we do have a campaign period now set out in law. So in spite of the absence of fixed date elections, we have important reforms have taken place.
Yes,
and there need not be...
That 6 months period cannot operate efficiently because you don't know where you're counting from. And it is very important in relation to the provisions of the legislation relating to campaign financing. Okay. You have a 6 months period, but there is no date from which it can be counted.
Well, I'm not going to take issue with Dr. Barnett's perspective on it. Like I said, it's set out for the purposes of the law, and it does relate to campaign financing.
The government says there is still no consensus with the opposition on fixed election dates, despite polls showing over 80% public support. We will have more later on in CVM News at 7 on that topic. Now, even as the country anticipates Decision 2025, there is a pause to commemorate emancipation and the 63rd anniversary of independence. There are bold claims from the ruling political party which have raised questions on the prospective budget for these celebrations from the opposition. More from Crystal Williams. We do apologize. Let's move on. 7 persons have been arrested in less than 1 week for possession of identity information in St. Mary. The criminals in the parish directly related to lottery scamming have been apprehended and their networks disrupted. However, additional operations are expected in the coming days. Investigations into these organized crimes are currently ongoing as the St. Mary Police Division and the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, continue to urge citizens to remain vigilant and to report suspicious activities to the nearest police stations. With just a day to go until the start of the annual Denbigh Agricultural Show, the Jamaica Agricultural Society, the JAS, says priority is being given to ensure improved access to patrons. Speaking on CVM at sunrise on Thursday, Chief Executive Officer of JAS, Darren Grant, said this is among a number of other developments to come this year.
We have reduced the amount of parking on the showground itself. We have expanded our car parks. So we have 2 major public car parks, Gate 6 and Gate 2. In addition to that, for those persons who don't want to contend with the traffic, because we attract over 60,000 patrons over 3 days at Denbigh. So we have reorganized an arrangement with the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC. So they will have park and ride services.
Oh, nice.
So they will have bus leaving from Arthurtree, Portmore, and Spanish Town to Denbigh each day, and a return trip will only cost you a mere $1,500.
Oh, wow.
And those buses will take you on the ground and wait for you and take you back into Kingston.
No, they are going to.
So we are doing a lot. The Jamaica Agriculture
is really a new era for true.
New era. And this is our 71st year. And one thing that we want to do is to change the look and feel.
In St. Catherine, the People's National Party, the PNP, is highlighting the lack of job opportunities in the parish, which it attributes to the alleged negligence of the governing Jamaica Labour Party. As PNP candidate for Ensom City addresses her supporters, touted the party as the people's choice. We will take a short break, but we'll be right back.
Jerry, what's up?
I really think you should look into adding Island Next Unlimited Internet as a reliable backup for your home and office. We can come over and we'll talk more.
How fast can you get?
That fast.
But how fast is Island Next broadband? Fast enough people business fast?
Nope.
Fast enough prayer fast?
Nope.
How about fiber fast?
But not that kind of fiber.
They use fast broadband to provide reliability.
Experience the lightning fast wireless broadband and reliable business services.
Ashman's Equipment, the new name in forklift sales and rentals in Jamaica. Top quality, low prices, fleet discounts available, 12-month warranty, free service parts, daily rentals, crazy cheap. Ashman's Equipment, same forklift, better deals.
Welcome back. From prison to the public eye, a year ago, Vybz Kartel walked free. His return has put dancehall and Jamaica's culture back under the global microscope. We're asking, what does this moment mean for the genre, its storytelling tradition, and the world's view of Jamaican music? Joining us to explore this cultural is the cultural geographer, Dr. Agostino Pinnock. Dr. Pinnock, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Great. What does all of this mean for dancehall culture? You know, we just said from prison back to the public's eye.
From prison back to the public's eye. Well, you know, one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about since I was asked to do this interview, I've been thinking a lot about what is the meaning of a cartel, the figure, you know, in dancehall. And in a way, you know, the thing that keeps coming to me is that Kartel is the hero returned, you know, is a kind of messianic figure. And I see where Rolling Stone, in a way, has described him as a folk hero. And I think all of those titles apply. And so what Kartel represents, and therefore what this moment means, not just for the music, but for the culture more broadly, is that what has happened is one of its favored sons, or perhaps even one of its most favored sons, has returned, and one could say robed in glory. And I know, in a way, you know, that's a kind of mythification or mythologizing of Kartel. But in a way, that's a kind of, he represents, he symbolizes something for dancehall supporters, for people who are, you know, just looking on with curiosity. There is a way, there's a kind of a way that Kartel brings together a number of expectations, concerns, hopes, dreams. And so in a way, for me, it's, you know, he's the hero returned. A sort of, you know, we're looking to him now as a kind of hope for the future. And so, you know, the more, you know, I would say that it means that Jamaican culture, to the extent that Kartel is a kind of ambassador for that, is in a sense in the spotlight again. You know, he's on his international tour, you know, and people are very interested. I understand that the British sprinter, Daryl Neater, when news broke last year, I think this was at the Olympics, when news broke last year that Kartel was being relieved, turned to the Jamaican reporters and said, is it true? Is it true that Kartel is out of prison? So yeah, I think in a way, you know, it's a big moment for dancehall.
You've been touching on it a bit, but I want you to go a little more in depth as to how this changes the conversation surrounding dance hall, for example.
Well, I mean, how it changes the conversation, you know, I think in the 13 years that Kartel has been out of the spotlight, and I mean, one has to be careful about you say been out of the spotlight, because, you know, we know that a number of people who have been, you know, in jail have been, you know, making music, and in a sense his absence was felt. And so different actors have come forward to kind of fill that void. But I think in a way Kartel's shoes are so huge, you know, in a sense a sort of larger than life type of vibe, I guess, or energy or character. And so in a sense, Kartel's return, in a sense, is a sort of, it grabs the spotlight again. It makes people pay attention insofar as people want to be in on the excitement of it. And so in a way,
I think we're having a bit of technical difficulties. I think we should take a short break and come right back to continue this conversation. Please stay with us.
Attention registered voters! Remember to collect your renewed voter ID card before the upcoming general election. If you registered to vote in 2016 or after and did not get your new ID card, it may have been automatically renewed. Simply visit your EOJ constituency office to collect your voter ID card. Contact the Electoral Office of Jamaica at 888-991-VOTE or 922-0425-9 for more information.
The time by Subaru is 12:15.
Thanks for staying with us. We want to continue our conversation now with cultural geographer Dr. Agostino Pinnock. Welcome back, Doc. I'm not sure what's happening, but are you hearing me clearly? We are not.
I'm hearing you clearly. There is a lag, but I mean, it's clear.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
We're hearing you much better now. We're looking at beyond the music, what Kartel means, for the culture in general, and even on a wider scale, worldwide.
Well, Kartel, like I said, Kartel is for me at any rate, Kartel is a kind of messianic figure. And so people wanting to come to Jamaica, there's an increased visibility around the music and I guess the character that Kartel is. People want to participate in that. And so, in a sense, I would argue, and I'm sure probably people disagree, but I would argue that, dancehall star is on the rise again, and so in terms of the meaning for the culture and for dancehall, in terms of its globalized identity, what it says is that there is a kind of a leader. The leader has returned, and Sumfest just recently crowned him as king. There's a sense in which Kartel can lead us into the future. People have argued, for example, my colleague and friend, Dr. Dennis Howard, who talks about the death of dancehall. And so his argument is that dancehall is dead and that we're now in a different era of Jamaican popular music. There are people who disagree with that, and some perhaps included would argue, as a kind of rebirth of what dancehall's potential is. Because remember now, dancehall is fashion, dancehall is music, dancehall is a number of different things. And, dancehall is a way of speaking and a way of being in the world. And so Kartel has a kind of rallying point in all of that, brings together all of those concerns in a way that people are then paying closer attention, I would say, to what's going on in Jamaica and in particular in Kingston. Kingston is a music city. Kartel, in a sense, refocuses attention on that.
I want to thank you for your time. Thank you so much for joining us on this important topic. We will continue with lots more right after this.
Jamaica, you ready? A pan time again. We're bringing the vibes to Kingston at Jamaica College. Sunday, August 31st, CB Chicken presents Pan, powered by CB Foods. Gates open at 12 noon and the Caribbean Passion Kiddies Village is back. Find out who will be crowned the 2025 Pan Chicken Champion Live performances by Kevin Downswell, Lila Ike, Jamar Mitchell, and many more. Admission is free. Roll out with the whole family on Sunday, August 31st, 12 noon at Jamaica College. One banana. Powered by CB Foods.
Denbigh Show 71. The Jamaica Agricultural Society, in association with the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, presents Denbigh 71, August 1 to 3, 2025. Denbigh Showgrounds, Mape and Clarendon. It's a family affair, from livestock competitions, agricultural displays, National Farm Queen competition, Kiddies Village, Health and Wellness Village, and much more. Closing the show is the Hypro Denbigh Gospel Extravaganza. Admission, adults 1,500, children 600 at the gate. Denbigh 71, August 1 to 3. You don't want to miss this.
It's time for sports now, and